Hello viewers and welcome to me putting my money where my mouth is. I'm Michael the Gathering and this is Beseech the Mirror, Bringer of the Last Gift. This is a Kavaero or Superior Spider-Man deck, if you will. Obviously the plan here is to play this, bring this back from the graveyard. We're putting it in the graveyard with cards like Overlord of the Balemurk, Dredger's Insight. We've got Wistfulness to discard from our hand if we desperately need to. This deck runs a little bit differently from some of the decks that you would normally have seen. First of all, there's no red in this deck. That's not particularly different from competitive lists, but a lot of people are still playing Terror of the Pigs. This deck is very mid-rangey. It is designed to continue chugging along when somebody removes all of our abilities to living end flip the board with our Bringer of the Last Gift, but also it uses Beseech the Mirror, which is an absolutely incredible tutoring card. We can sacrifice our enchantments on board, which are either the Dredger's Insight or the Overlord of the Balemurk, which has been played for 2 mana for its impending, or our Awaken the Honored Dead, which is an absolutely fantastic card. We can go and get whatever we need. Either that's a Kavaero, which we can then cast for free, which allows us to probably play the Bringer. Unfortunately, this doesn't allow us to Kavaero into the Deceit or Wistfulness, which is another incredible thing that this deck does, but sometimes you do forget that occasionally, and you punt an entire game because you've beseeched for a Kavaero, and then you pick up a Deceit and you realize that you've gotten yourself a vanilla 4/4. But more importantly, usually the other thing that we're going to search for is either an Awaken, so we can destroy target non-land permanent, or a Terror Tide, which is really, really good when this deck is all permanent except for 2 copies of Terror Tide and 4 copies of Beseech the Mirror. So this deck is really solid, relatively straightforward. It just sort of takes a lot of thinking in the moment. I've joined into a standard event. We're going to see how far I can get here, and if I can get some play-in points that I will absolutely never use. Please like, subscribe, hype the video. Apparently that's a thing that we can do now. Puts me onto the secret YouTube leaderboards, and let's have a good time. I mean, this looks incredible. We're absolutely keeping this. So we want to always start, obviously, with a tap land. What we start with here depends on a couple of different things. It mostly depends on what we're going to try and get down early. Botanical Sanctum means, obviously, our opponent is running some sort of Ouroboroid Badger Mole deck. We're not particularly worried about those decks. Those decks are pretty straightforward for us to interact with and absolutely annihilate. We love to see a Kavaero into the graveyard that we can pick up. We love to see a Deceit that we can then Kavaero, because our turn 4 Deceit is one of the strongest plays in Standard. Hopefully our opponent goes turn 2 Badger Mole Cub into more ramp. There we go. So we can go turn 3 Awaken. If they hold up protection, obviously we're having a bit of a bad time. Not upset about that at all. The right thing that our opponent should have done there would have been to hold up the Botanical Sanctum with some sort of counter magic. As it is, I mean, putting these in the graveyard is obviously a good thing if you are assuming that my plan is exclusively to flip the battlefield. It's actually not. When I'm playing against the Badger Mole deck with this deck, my plan is actually just to interact with them. Because I have plenty of interaction and they run out of stuff really fast. And I can use my Beseechers to clear the board repeatedly. Cool, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. I'm not really seeing any reason why we don't just... I didn't check my stuff! So now if we Deceit, we're going to find out what we cast, what we cast it for. Alternatively, we... Wistfulness or we Badger Mole Cub? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to Badger Mole Cub. And then next turn... we're going to discard this. Whoops! Oh well. Let's return. So if we want to, we can also just hard cast Deceit here. Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 6th. Which I do think we kind of want to do. And then we're going to Kavaero their Ouroboroid away. And we're going to pretend that this was what we meant to do the whole time. Oof! That sucks. Okay, so what we're going to do instead, we're going to get rid of the River Regent. Get in for 4, why not? And then what we're going to do is we're going to Kavaero their River Regent, bounce a bunch of stuff to their hand. Yeah. Because they're going to repeatedly cast Ouroboroid here. I'm going to be like, cool, I literally don't care. Cool, because now I can just steal your River Regent. Because I know that you have no interaction in hand. Say hi! I'm actually just going to steal your good creatures. Don't mind me. So the plan here is I bounce the Ouroboroid and then... I guess the Llanowar Elves. If we had anything to cast, we might worry about playing Broompool, but we don't, so we're just going to leave it. Do we want to attack with the Deceit? That will offer a trade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We won't attack with the Kavaero just because that's going to offer us the opportunity to Bringer next turn. And our opponent still only has 2 things in the graveyard, and we've got a Deceit, a Bringer, and a Kavaero. Basically, we were offering for them to do a trade, which they have rightfully not done. Cool. So if they chump block with the Ouroboroid, they get an Ouroboroid back, which I obviously don't want. So we're just going to 4 them, and then we're going to flip the board. So we can bring back... Oh, if we get rid of the Ouroboroid... So this is a weird thing. Because we know Ouroboroid's still going to be in the graveyard after all of this resolves. It will then exile the Ouroboroid from the graveyard. No, we'll enter tapped, thank you. And now we have a 4/4 Ouroboroid. And our opponent has to bath the board, basically. Yeah, hard casting a Quantum Riddler is rough at this point. Can I steal another? Or, oh, wait, I can just go blue, black. Yeah, there we go. I assume... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We relaunch. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back into it. We have no green, so we are sending this back. So we can go turn 1, Sewers, turn 2, Verge, Wistfulness, discard a Bringer, which is pretty good, all things considered. I would like to keep the Deceit, but it's hard to pick what we want to get rid of in this deck. Ooh, Landfall deck. Oh, we're keeping that. We have our 4 lands, and that's a really, really good turn 3 play for us. Landfall. Love to see it. Time for interaction! Wait, no, this isn't interaction. Now, again, part of what we're doing here is, this is like line A of the deck, is Kavaero a million things onto the board while clearing our opponent's board. Oh, and we can kill the Earthbender Ascension instead of killing a creature. Oh, so happy. That makes me so happy. Now, it's entirely possible that we simply die here. Whenever a land you control enters, put a quest counter on it. If you have small quest counters, put a plus one counter. So, if they play... They have to do 14 damage to me. They have 4, 5, 6 on the board. If they do all of that... So basically, here's the risk that we're going through. I think we killed the Chocobo, actually. If they switch this on, then I would have died. But also, now if they switch this on, it has to be on the forest. It's hard to say what would have been good. Yeah, okay. Okay, we're all good. Whoa! I didn't do the greedy thing. We're okay. So the thing that we were at risk of there was them warping the Mightform Harmonizer in and then killing us instantly. This is why we play interaction. Game 3! Alright. Cool. We really rather this be in our deck. Unfortunately, this is a bit of a garnet. But we're happy for the rest of this hand. Don't need a second Surveil land. That's why we play this Surveil land, to get rid of other Forsaken. It's the Aggro deck! Alright. We only have one possible turn 2 play, so we do that. So this is actually one of our worst matchups, I think. This hyper-aggressive black... Oh, it's the black-red deck. So this is the Monument deck. Why? Oh, it's other creatures. Okay. Cool. We go green mana, and we pay the life to kill that. Still pretty sure that this is black-red. Black-red Monument. Still very much a bad matchup for us because of cards like Forsaken Miner. They can play out of their graveyard really easily. They Thoughtseize us, that's fine. The question is, do they take the Terror Tide? Because I think that's correct. Luckily for us, they can't take either both of the Kavaeros right here. And we might just mill the perfect card off the top from the Awaken. They do take the Terror Tide. Okay. And we mill nothing of relevance. Sick. So, what we want to do then is... I don't know that we want to bring back our Wistfulness and draw and discard 2, but on the other hand, we also don't particularly want this, so... Of our options, we take the 4/4 Wistfulness. Be nice if they had an artifact or enchantment for us to get rid of, but they don't. We'll get rid of the Breeding Pool. Yeah. This is another reason why having the Terror Tide in hand is not ideal. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately for you, I have my third Kavaero, but even if I didn't, this is going to put something back in my hand. Yeah. So I'm absolutely going to discard the Deceit here and then play my 4-mana Deceit. Blue, blue, black, black. 4-mana ETB. Destroy target creature. But more importantly, if there's something better than that, get it out of here. Ooh. That's interesting. I think we get rid of this because it stops them from being able to draw into more stuff. We don't have life gain in this deck, so this is very sketchy. I deserve that. I absolutely deserve them ripping another Mentor off the top. Mr. 3 Kavaeros in hand. What do they get? Flint. Ooh! They don't play the Laughing Justable Hit. They play the Vine Lasher. Yeah. So, we really need to clear this board. If we go Wistfulness, draw into something incredible and a land, we can Kavaero. I do think we do that. The other option is Overlording. I don't think we necessarily want that. Basically, if we get any blue untapped land, we can Wistfulness again. Well, we do have life gain. Let's get rid of a Kavaero, and we'll go Dredger's Insight into... This is probably a terrible, terrible idea. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll leave that there, and then we'll do this, and we'll put a Kavaero back in our hand and gain a life. Well, if we live this turn, we get to Living End. I don't know that that means we then live the following turn, because they have 3 lizards that immediately come back onto the battlefield. But you never know. So we take... I guess it depends. We take at least 1. Oh, this is the point where you're really upset that we didn't take any... put any Vein Rippers in the deck. So... I think we just have to block 2 and block 2. And take the 3. Take the 5. Oof. No! Well done. Unfortunately. I'm devastated to inform you. I'm pretty sure I still die. Do I still die? No, none of... I have 1 menace thing. So they need... So they can... I can block everything except 1. So they need 1 more point of damage? And I have 10, 16 in the air. That means you lose. And then I can't block that. No, I don't win. So I need 3 things to block with. So we have to put 6 towards them. And then we have to pass the turn. Oh god, it's so close. That 1, 2, 3, and then they have 3 mana with which to... They can't kill us. But if they had discarded for 2, they would have 3 left, and they would have drawn a card. And if they'd drawn like a murder, we lose. Putting a Hide Claw onto the battlefield. Puts me at 1. But doesn't win the game. I really want to know what's on top of their deck. Because they could have 100% won the game. Yes! We're playing standard best of 1. Of course I had fun. Game 4. Solid. 4-lander, can never be particularly upset about that when we're playing a 26-land deck. I don't know against... So here's what I'm thinking. Here's my moment of pause. I wouldn't normally play Breeding Pool turn 1, but here's the thing. I think that if our opponents are playing... I was expecting it to be like blue-red Monument, but blue-white Voice of Victory implies Jeskai Revelation, which is really bad for us. So we can Dredger's Insight or we can Wistfulness. I think we Dredger's Insight in this case. We don't have anything in hand that we really want to discard. We'll happily leave that Deceit there so that we can Kavaero it turn full. And it's really possible that we need these Wistfulnesses to play as 5-drops. Land for turn? Are they considering whether or not they need to get lost this? Land for turn? Yeah, there we go. Okay, Multiversal Passage for white. Oh, they're seam ripping it. Interesting. That's... Is this some sort of white-blue... Well, I mean, I'm glad that I got the double green now. White-blue enchantments deck? We want to play this into a no more... No, we don't get no more lies. Fascinating. We absolutely take the Wistfulness because apparently that's going to be really useful in this matchup. We surveil a land off the top. Or another Dredger's Insight, which we do not need. A Flood Pit... I don't think I've ever seen this deck before. So this is like white-blue tempo-y sort of stuff. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to play a Verge. So basically we want to go... We want quad blue, which we don't have. So we're going to go blue, blue, and we're going to Wistfulness for blue. We're We're not going to play our land for the turn just to see if there's anything interesting that we want to play next. We're going to discard one bringer. And then we're going to play another what do we reckon? Another Wistfulness? I think we keep the other Wistfulness, so we put a Watery Grave down, tapped. Now, it's entirely possible our opponent plays Enduring Curiosity, is the other card I was expecting there. Yeah. So we're right on the edge. So we basically need to force our opponent to have counter magic. I don't want to play straight into a counterspell here. Because they've been holding up some sort of counter magic. The flip side is, if we awaken the Honored Dead... Okay, if we awaken the Honored Dead and they have a No More Lies, it doesn't matter. So, we just Kavaero, right? I think because we haven't lost yet, and it's game 4, we can afford the risk. But I also don't know... Well, good game. That's... Can't be mad about that. Yeah, that's what they've been holding up this whole time. Yeah. Ironically, a better play would have been to Kavaero earlier so that they could ang it and we could play through the airbending, but the flip side is that they also then probably would have had something like an Aven Interrupter. You know, we lose the games that are bad matchups generally. We can't be mad about that. Okay, game 5. We love 3 different options for turn 2. They go first, which is good for us, because it lets us make a more informed decision about what land we play first turn. But it's almost certainly going to be... Ooh! Okay, so Surveil land, this is absolutely control. 0 chance this is anything other than Jeskai Ascendancy. Ascendancy? Revelation. Cool, so we're going to jam a Deceit and have it get counterspelled. And if we don't, we get to see what their hand is. No More Lies to exile it. Yep. This is one of the better decks to be playing in this. Hi, I don't care. But it's really tempting to just Wistfulness anyway. Actually, I will. You know what? Pay 2 life. And we'll green Wistfulness for green. You know, if they're gonna play the Rest in Peace and not protect it, then I'm gonna assume that it's bad for them if I remove it. It also was the only thing I could do that turn, because Dredger's Insight wouldn't get me anywhere. I would love to flip the table this turn, but I guess that's not happening. We Dredger's Insight first, and then we keep this up. Because we want the blue in case we want a Wistfulness. Ooh, I would love a Deceit. And then we Deceit for black, and we get to see what your hand is. Oh. Be still, my beating heart. Oh. Ooh. Okay. We can beseech for anything. So the thing is, we don't especially need much right now. I kind of wonder if we just beseech for a Dredger's Insight. Yeah. We take our artifact token and we say thank you. Would you like to counter this Beseech the Mirror? You get lost my Dredger's Insight. I turn one of the map tokens into another Dredger's Insight. Yeah, you spell snare it? Go nuts. I admit I forgot that was a thing they could do. Well, I guess we hardcast Wistfulness. Oh, they have the Consultant's Jar Charts. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Draw, draw. We discard the Awaken because we don't need it. Oh, ah! Are they going to have anything in their deck that we care about getting rid of? We should discard the Bringer. That's just responsible. Alright, we got 6 mana. Next turn we can Kavaero, if they don't stop us. Notably, this deck plays no counter magic prevention. I found that it's not that it's never useful, it's that it's almost never useful, and actually the situation where we most have to play through counter magic really hard. I mean, I'm glad we have the Awaken the Honored Dead. Yeah, the situation where we most have to play through counter magic really hard is just airbending decks, and we can't stop our spells from getting airbent. So I'm going to assume they have a Jeskai Ascendancy in hand. Sixing them is very good for us. But probably with how much they've dug through their deck, we're probably going to lose this one. It's not completely lost, but not holding that up as counter magic is a choice. So I kind of just Kavaero into... Oh, wow. Oh, I 4-mana Deceit them every time. Wait. Wait. Black. Black. Blue. Blue. Now. We 4-mana Deceit them every time. Oh. Oh, that feels good. Oh, the scoop. Oh. That's... It's probably also the fact that they were like, okay, they've got a Bringer in hand that they can just hard cast. Two lands is rough, but having the Dredger's Insight means that we can dig for a land really easily. So I'm actually completely okay with the greedy keep here. You know, if it was 2 lands and a bunch of 6 drops, we'd be having a different conversation. I swear to God, we're getting spell snared. I have no one to blame but myself. When are we punished? Never! Oh my God, that's hilarious. When do we have it? Now. Ooh! Oh my God. So we rip this out of their hand. And next turn, we rip the 4th land off the top. It's fine. Because we do this. So 2 revelations in hand. I think what we do is we get rid of their card draw and we try to strand the 7 drops in their hand. Hopefully we can both be mana screwed together. Pay 2 life. Black. Black. That's really tempting. But no, we are going to ETB Thoughtseize you again. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start stripping the revelations away from you. And then what we're going to do next turn is we're going to impending the Overlord for black and a green. And then we're going to rip another Deceit off the top. We already have a Deceit. We're going to Deceit them again. How do you like keeping a 2-lane hand and thought-seizing somebody 4 times? I am not the good guy in this story. I am the villain. In a fight against control, I am the villain. Not the nuts, but also kind of an incredible hand. It could be anything. Could even be the nuts. So, we want to go blue-black land enters tapped. Generally, we want the Dimir lands turn 1. Do we want Dredger's Insight, or do we want... There's an element here of... Oh... That was me being cosmically punished for not playing the Dredger's Insight while they didn't have a spell snare up. Oh, honey. Oh. I'm sorry. In this channel, we play real decks. Oh my God. Please. Please. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Oh. Oh. Anyway. For 4 mana, I put 20 power on the board and draw 2 cards. And I gain a life. I hope you have a Wrath of God. Oh, I draw 1 card. Shame. Oh, it's adorable. Oh. Oh. Ah, evoke Wistfulness for green. Evoke Deceit for blue. Swing for game. How did you get here? My friend, how did you reach 4-1? Or are we 4-2? No, we're 1 loss. We're 5-1. We were 5-1 and we played against a Simulacrum deck. Unbelievable. Simply strange. I was only healing it up very slightly for that. I have even more disdain for the 4-color Simulacrum decks that people play than I do for 4-color Reanimator. They're just so bad. Oh, absolutely clowning on that person has made my entire week. We love a turn 1 Opulent Palace. We would never play more than 2 of these. These are devastating to get beyond turn 1. But we don't hate a Wistfulness and an Overlord of the Balemurk early on. Again, Terra Tide stuck in our hand, not ideal. Hopefully, it'll just turn out to be exactly what we need. Yep. I was this close to restarting Arena. But it would seem that we have an opponent who is a little bit away. Ooh, interesting. Okay. If we Overlord and they seam rip it, they can't seam rip it. But if we Overlord and they Sheltered by Ghosts it, then we can Wistfulness the Sheltered by Ghosts and we get an Overlord. Bop, 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 bop. Ooh, do we put that in our hand? Let's go with no. Sometimes it's actually pretty common that putting the extra card into your hand is actually quite valuable, and you don't want to always just automatically never pick up the bringer. Always never do it. Yes! You fool! You have fallen right into my trap. Boom! Have you ever seen a more disgusting scam deck? And it's with my opponent's help. And if my opponent goes incredibly wide, I just Terra Tide them for 8. Yeah, what is my opponent doing? I swear to God, if my opponent is playing a brain-dead, mono-white ladder deck, and they're in the 6-1 bracket, I swear to God. Oh, it is such an indictment of Arena players that this deck is where it is. Well, don't mind me, I'm just going to mill myself out. That's very tempting. But I will actually do the Overlord, so I have additional flying creatures. And then we return a Kavaero to hand. Also, we living ended, and we still have 10 cards in graveyard. Pass the turn. If you'll pardon the French, what the fuck is this doing here? Truly. Is this a person playing mono white who could not afford the wild cards for a most helpful Weaver, and yet they are in a standard challenge? Just play ladder. That's where this deck is for. And I swear to God if you Salt Rope me. They're desperately trying to find a line, and there isn't one. Hey, buddy. I'm really sorry, but your creature's an enchantment. So, I'm just gonna 25 you. And draw a card. Pick up the card I just used as removal. Oh my god. I'm gonna get demonetized for doing awful things to people. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming with me. Maybe by the end of the year I'll actually play in one of these. This has been Beseech Bringer. Like and subscribe, hype the video. Thank you for coming along. And I will see you in the next one. Can I get the whole thing? Yeah!